Hi, my friends. Today's Thursday. Oh my God, today is Thursday already, and we are on chapter 13. It's Alice. This was after that they met and exchanged emails. So let's see what happens. Over the next week, Millie and Alice met twice at midnight on the shores of Lake Standish. As soon as she was sure her roommates were asleep, Alice would slip out of bed. She would take a snack, a bottle of milk from the dining hall kitchen, and would wait on the shore for Millie to arrive. Her new friend was odd, Alice thought, watching Millie paddle to the shore in her canoe. She would only come over on moonless nights, explaining that a village adhered to a lunar calendar and that it was bad luck to travel on nights when the moon was out. She wore oversized sweatpants that drooped past her ankles, a big plaid shirt with sleeves that came practically to her fingertips, and a baseball cap pulled down low on her forehead. The second time she'd come, she hopped out of the canoe and dashed behind the bushes to pee, Alice thought. Except then she just stayed there. Alice had been trying to figure out a polite way to ask why she was hiding, when from behind the spot of foliage, Millie had explained that she had a glandular condition that caused her to have hair on her face and hands. And I'm really kind of shy about it, she said. Can you get laser treatments? My parents don't believe in them, she said. That made sense because Alice had learned Millie belonged to a very strict religious order. Its practitioners, who called them the Yar, had rules that prohibited movies, music, and any television show except for Friends and The Next Stage, which Alice thought was weird, but maybe no weirder than religions that led their followers to drink anything but coffee or required them to wear little hats and didn't celebrate birthdays. Millie had been homeschooled and had lived her whole life in the Yar village. That was somewhere upstate, she said, gesturing vaguely across the river. Not too far from here, she said. The Yar were mostly farmers, although some of the women did knitting and crochet and needlework that they sold online, which was how Millie referred to the internet, on the line. Alice thought that was funny. Millie had hardly ever been out of the village and had never met a kid who wasn't Yar, and had about 18 million questions every time Alice saw her. That night, after they shared their homemade granola bars and apple pie that Alice had made with Kate that afternoon, and some milk from the glass bottle, they started discussing the Friends. I mean, it sounds like a funny show, but I don't understand why the elders, Alice looked at Millie, who nodded, or at least looked at her this way she was nodding through the bushes, why the elders would think that it was better than the Gilmore Girls or Modern Family. I cannot speak of them, said Millie, and then gave a little giggle. Oh, they'd laugh if they heard me saying that. I'm always speaking about everything. Old Aunt Yetta calls me a box of chatter. She took a deep breath. Alice braced herself for an onslaught of questions that she knew was coming. Have you ever been to a restaurant? Millie asked. Ever? Alice asked. I mean to say, which restaurant is your favorite one? Millie said quickly. Alice told her about the candy store in Cape Cod that served cheddar cheese and chive scones and dark chocolate covered apricots. Apricots, Millie said dreamily. I have to ask my papa to order some. What is your favorite place that you've ever been? Alice smiled. The beach with my granny. In the mornings when there was no one there, I go running on the sand. Sometimes at low tide there were sandbars, little islands, she explained, and told Millie how she'd wade through the shallows to reach them and then pretend that she'd been shipwrecked and would have to survive all alone. You like to be alone? Millie asked. Alice didn't want to answer that. She didn't want to tell Millie the truth about how lonely she was and how she longed for company. Only nobody ever seemed to want to be around her. My turn, she said instead. After the first meeting, they agreed for every 10 question Millie asked, Alice would get 2. What's the name of your town? Is it far from here? Not so far, but you must not try to find it. Why not? The elders, my parents especially, don't like us talking with outsiders, Millie said. They wouldn't like it if they knew I had made a new friend. Made a friend? Alice asked. She liked the funny way Millie said that. If you say made up, it sounds like I am imaginary. Ah, said Millie. Also, we don't like people to look at us. Because of the hair? Alice merely gestured towards her face. Millie had explained that lots of Yar shared her affliction and didn't like to go out in public. Exactly, said Millie. So are you having a best friend at home in New York? Alice looked down at her feet. She felt sick and ashamed as she heard Millie scoot closer. Did I ask something wrong? Millie asked. Alice shook her head, said, no, it's not your fault. I don't really, people don't really like me. I like you, said Millie. Alice gave an unhappy laugh. You don't know many other girls, though. Even if I knew 100 girls, you would be my bestie, Millie said. Alice found that she was on the verge of tears. Well, you don't go to school here. None of the girls here are my friends. What do they do? Alice paused. Then, without knowing she was going to say anything, she blurted, they took my picture. What? Who took your picture? Some of the kids here, they tricked me, and then they took a picture, and then they posted it all around the school. Why would they do something like that? That is terrible. Oh no, Alice, that's terrible. And it's not the other girl, said Alice. She was glad for the darkness, glad that she was probably just a girl-shaped lump on the shore. Tears were slipping down her face, soaking her collar of her sweatshirt, and she voiced her deepest fear. It's me. What do you mean? What about you? Asked Millie. Everywhere I go, every single school, the same thing happens. Nobody likes me. Nobody ever likes me. My roommates here are only nice because they have to be. My own parents don't even like me. They keep sending me away. I like you, said Millie. Her voice was firm. She got to her feet, emerged from the bushes, and wrapped her arms around Alice's shoulder, hugging her from behind. Who did that? Millie asked. Who stole your clothes and then took your picture? Who did that to you? Alice's voice hitched and wobbled. It doesn't matter, she said. It doesn't matter which one, because if it wasn't that girl, it would have just been somebody else. It's me. Nobody likes me. There's something very, very wrong with me. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you, Millie said. Probably they are jealous of your beauty. Alice gave a bitter snort and wondered if Millie was too teasing her. Millie pressed on. I'd give you anything to look like you. If I was bigger, I could keep up and the other yard wouldn't ditch me. If I was stronger and faster, they wouldn't treat me like I'm a little scrap of nothing. In my family, well, if my hair wasn't so strange. My hair is very strange, said Alice. Your hair is perfect, Millie released Alice and plopped down beside her, straightening the baseball cap that covered her head and shadowed her face. If you live in my village, you would be the most favorite of all, I promise. Even Tulip couldn't compete. Alice laughed. Only now she felt lighter inside, now that she had shared the story of what happened. When Millie leaned against her, Alice didn't pull away. The two girls sat shoulder to shoulder, talking and laughing until the sky lightened from black to gray, and it was time for Millie to paddle back home. So a lot of you are right that they were becoming friends and that they're pals, and I don't know what's going to happen next because the next chapter is Jeremy. So let's see what Jeremy's up to in the next chapter. You guys are doing a great job on your work. Awesome job on everything that's been assigned. I am going to just send a couple comprehension questions in a little bit, and I will talk to you soon. Tomorrow is a read-only day, but I will read Jeremy chapter and then upload it to Google Classroom. All right, guys, have a great day. See you later. Bye.